Dear students, biology is the one subject which is helping us a lot in many areas. So it is because of biology we are getting food, maybe shelter and other things. In the previous chapter of this unit, you have already studied about human health and diseases. How exactly the human diseases are hurting us, and as of now you know about coronavirus also. This coronavirus is also hurting us a lot in many areas. And biology is the one which is giving way out for many problems like that. Maybe the medicines or the way in which we have to live. One of the basic necessity of any organism is the food. So food is one of the major source of life, and it provides the nutrients required for all the life processes to happen here. And in this chapter, let us try to understand how biology has been helpful to improve the crop production. With the increase in the population, which is increasing in a very high scale, we need to improve our crop production so that the people won't die of starvation. At this moment, the role of biology is very important to enhance the food productivity so that the people and also other organisms are also going to get the food for them. From the point of mankind, it is very essential to provide the food for all. So let us see how we can improve the food productivity or how to improve the food production by evolving different mechanisms where the role of biology comes. So in this chapter, we are going to discuss about the four major concepts which are contributing for improving the food productivity. One is animal husbandry, second one is plant breeding, thirdly we have single cell proteins and also tissue culture. Under these four major concepts, we are going to study the strategies for the improvement of food production. Let us see one by one. Then what is animal husbandry? Since the age of civilization, if you look at the history of civilization, we can see man is always with many animals. So we started living with animals and we started getting many things from animals. And here we have been using many animals for various purposes. And later on, man started domesticating these animals. So this domestication has become a form of agriculture now. So it itself has got its own branch, which we call it as animal husbandry. It is the agricultural practice of breeding and rearing of livestock, wherein we take care of these animals which are useful for us in many ways. So we have different animals which we are rearing to get the different products which are useful to us in different ways. Maybe for our food purpose, or maybe for the cloth, or maybe for industrial purposes, like that. For various purposes, we have been using these producers which we get from these animals. So in this we are having different animals which have been reared, which we are domesticating. So let us see the different animals. You can have a look at these things here. So the cows we are having, and also buffaloes. So the cows and also buffaloes play a very important role in dairy farming. So they together form cattle. You can look at the picture in this case. Next we are having the other animals like pigs and also maybe chicken, then goat and sheep. Then we are having many birds especially we call them as poultry birds, where we are having poultry farming. Then you can see even the horses. So for various purposes, we are using these animals. And apart from that, we also have fish, then some prawns, then we also have some shelled animals, so lobsters, all those things we are using for various products. So what are the various products we get here? So we get the milk which is there, which is one of the major source of nutrient for especially the children, rich in calcium. Then we have, maybe you can see, this is the meat which we get from different animals, and for getting egg, or it may be the wool which we use it for making yarn and then the clothes. Then honey we get, which is one of the richest source of nutrients. Then we use the wool, which is used for various purposes. So like this, either for food purpose or maybe for preparing the cloth, and we use them in many industrial purposes also, to use them to get the raw materials which are used in the industries. We make use of these animals. So let us see what are the different areas which are used in this animal husbandry. So we have the management of farms and farm animals. If you look at, there is one area which we call it as dairy farm management. Secondly, we are going to discuss about poultry farm management. Thirdly, about beekeeping, that is what we call it as apiculture. Then fisheries, which we call it as pisciculture. So under these four major areas, we are going to discuss about this animal husbandry. So all the four areas are very important as they provide us the food. In this chapter, we confine ourselves to the animals which are providing us the source of food. So which we use them directly, or some of the products of these animals are used as food for us. So let us see one by one here. One of the important animal husbandry, branch of animal husbandry which we use is dairy farm management. You know, it is because of Dr. Kurian, white revolution took place in our country from 1960s, and now we have become one of the major country where we are able to produce milk to the greater extent. Out of the cattle population, our country, that is India and also China, constitute around 70%. But as far as the productivity is concerned, it is very minimum. So that's why it is very important to manage the dairy farm scientifically. So it is a very systematic way we are going to manage the dairy, and to improve the productivity, we need to have very good breed. So the breed which is providing us good yield and also resistant to the diseases, and which can definitely is able to live in different climatic conditions. So it should be get adjusted to different conditions here. So this is the breed which we have to keep, should be able to get adjusted to the conditions which are prevailing in that particular area, and it should be able to provide us good yield, and thirdly, it should be resistant to the diseases, because the productivity is going to be affected if the animal is affected by any disease. So that's why the primary requirement in any dairy farm management is having a good breed. And secondly, we need to provide good shelter. So the proper area with good ventilation and also disease-free environment. If we maintain the hygiene conditions and we are able to provide them good environment, so that the area in which these animals are kept should be free from any litter or maybe any microbes or maybe insects and all, so that the animal will not be affected by these diseases, and a product like if you take the cattle, so the cattle give us the milk, that is one of the major product, is free from any infections or any bacteria. That's why keeping the hygiene and cleanliness while milking, storage and transportation of milk is very, very important. For that, we need to have an area which is free from all these microbes and all. We need to maintain the hygienic conditions, and sanitation should be very good. Then the animal house, you can see this one. This is the animal house which we are using it now compared to the previous days. So better cleanliness can be ensured, and you can also see better ventilation which is there in the animal house. This ventilation is very important, and so we need to provide water. Water source should be there in this animal house, so that the animals will be able to get good air to breathe and good water to drink. So that's very important. And the another important thing which need to be taken care in dairy farming is providing the food with all nutrients. That's what we call it as balanced diet. In animal feeding, there are two important types of food which need to be provided for the animals. One is to provide them the basic food which is necessary for the life processes to take place. So one is the raw food where the fodder is given, which is rich in cellulose, which is for the maintenance purposes by the animals. And the second one is the supplements have to be given in this case. To improve the quality of the milk, we need to provide the supplements. We give oil cakes, maybe protein rich grams are given to provide them the nutrient supplements in this case. So that's why the fodder and also the supplement should be in right quantity, and while providing so, we should provide the good quality one also. That's very important for getting good yield and also keeping them free from any diseases. Then let us see the next area where we get many things, especially the egg and also meat, where we are keeping the poultry birds, which we call it as poultry, and we have since very long time we have been domesticating some of the birds which are very useful for us in many ways. So that rearing of these birds is what we call it as poultry. And in this, selection of disease-free and suitable breeds is very, very important. The selection of breed depends on the purpose for which we are keeping and the area where the climatic conditions are going to vary is one of the important things which need to be taken care. So for laying the eggs, we need to keep a different breed, and for the meat purposes, we need to keep different breeds here. And for them, the birds, the poultry birds especially, including chicken, we have different birds which we will see. We need to provide them proper food and also water. So it's very important. And the conditions which we are providing in the poultry farms should be very good, and we should be able to provide very hygienic and also healthy environment. And these birds are very easily affected by the diseases because of the number of individuals which are there in that small area. That's why we need to be very careful regarding the health of the birds. they need to be vaccinated, and they need to be taken care properly, and a proper diet should be given to have better productivity from these poultry birds. So apart from, of course, in the poultry, we have the chicken or chick and hen, which are the main animals which are reared in the poultry. But apart from that, we have other birds like ducks. We can have a look at ducks. And then we have turkey birds, which are also reared in many parts of our country, and also geese. So all these birds are said to be the poultry birds, but major is the chicken which is being used as a poultry bird. And these birds, as I told you already, they are affected by pathogens very easily. That's why we need to take care of them. And you might have heard about bird flu. So this bird flu is caused by virus, and the problem is that this bird flu virus can be transmitted to the human beings also from these infected birds. So that's why you might have seen the mass killings of these birds in the area where the bird flu is there. So which we also call it as avian flu. That's why here we need to take care of these birds properly. Then another one area is apiculture, where the bees are kept. And from these honeybees, what are the products we get from these honeybees? So the two important products are honey and also wax. So you can get honey as well as wax, which we call it as beeswax. And honey is the one which is very rich in nutrients. It is rich in fructose, and also it has a lot of enzymes. Thereby it provides us a lot of immunity. And secondly, it is also having antiseptic properties. That's why in Indian system of medicine, honey plays a very vital role. It is a very important component of Ayurveda and all. Then we have beeswax, which is used for various purposes. And looking at the way in which we are going to rear these honeybees, we have to keep them in beehives. These are all called beehives, which are kept in farmland or any area where lot of flowers are there. That's very important. So you can see the beehives which are present here. Then you can see the beekeeper, and also we have different species of honeybees. So normal one is called Apis indica, but we rear the species like Apis serena, Apis mellifera, Apis dorsata, which are more productive when compared to Apis indica. And very easily they are manageable. Apis serena, Apis mellifera and Apis dorsata are easily manageable, and the productivity is also good. So that's why these different species are reared in our country by these in these apiaries. So you can see these are all called apiaries, or beehives also we call. So these are all kept here, and you can see the areas in which we are going to keep them. So normally in the farmlands we have to keep them during the flowering season. So what is the advantage of keeping these beehives in these farmland during flowering season? Here, these flowers get pollinated by the bees, so thereby there is increase in the productivity. wherein the honeybees are get the nectar and thereby they are able to provide or they are able to produce enough quantity of honey so we can have good productivity of honey as well as there is increase in the yield in that farmland where these beehives are kept. So like this, in both ways we are going to be benefited if we are using apiculture. And the initial investment which we have to do is also very less. And what is that which we need to know if we want to become successful in beekeeping? You know, just like us, as we are also social well-being, these honeybees also have very good social so they are also very good and they are also social well-beings. They are also having lot of movements and all, and we should have the knowledge about the nature and habits of these honeybees. That is the first priority which is required here. We should have the knowledge about the nature and also habits of the honeybees. Then, depending on the requirement, we need to select the suitable type of honeybees. And we need to select suitable place for beehives so that the food should be made available properly for them. Otherwise, the productivity is going to be affected. And the person who is handling these honeybees should be able to have the knowledge of catching and hiving of swarms. That group of honeybees is called swarms. So the person should have the knowledge of how to catch and also hiving of swarms. And how to manage them in different seasons is another area which need to be known for successful beekeeping, because we have different seasons during which the flowering take place. So depending on that, so we need to know how best we can manage these beehives in different seasons and how to collect the honey and also purify it and how to collect this bee wax and other things we should know. So these are all the requirements for successful beekeeping. So then you can see the beehives which are there. Then coming to the another area in animal husbandry, it is fisheries, which is one of the important area that to our country, which is covered by maximum area or maximum length of our country is covered by this seashore. So 3 sides of our country is covered by sea, and we have enough opportunity to get more fish. And secondly, many people depend on this fishery, especially the people who are living in the seashore. So this pisciculture is nothing but rearing of fishes for various purposes, mainly for meat and also to get some cod liver, oils and other things. So we have different animals along with fish. Normally when we say pisciculture, it also includes some of the animals like prawn, you can see the fin fishes, then rearing of prawn, and you can see lobster which is there, and also some shell animals including freshwater mussels or maybe oysters which are also there, which we use them as food source. These are all the different animals along with the fish which are going to be reared. Then how do we get fish here? So this fishing is of 2 types. You can see in the sea and also maybe in lakes, dams and all. Naturally the fish is available and they are going to be harvested through fishing. So that we call it as natural fishing, where in the natural environment, natural water bodies, so fishing is done. It is the one which contributes much to our economy, and also that is a major source of fish in the world. Then we have another one. So we can see we can culture the fish by using the tanks. We can have small tanks or big tanks also we can have it, depending on the amount of fish you want. And this we call it as culture fishery. So this is also another way by which we can rear the fish and also get the fish. We have many fishes which are useful for us as a source of food. In the natural fishery, again we are having two types. One is marine fishery, and also in the inland fishery. In inland fishery, we are having all the lakes, ponds are there, maybe dams are there, they are all coming under inland fishery. So marine fishery, as the name itself indicates, it is in marine water, that is in sea and also oceans. So as I told you already, that is one of the major source of fish. So here for fishing they take big ships and also they go for a longer days and they can harvest tons of fish at a time. So we have many marine fishes which are used here. It is pomfret, one of the marine fish which is used as food. You can see the other one, that is mackerel. This is mackerel. And we have other species of fish we call sardines. Then we have hilsa. Like that, many marine fishes are used as food. Then apart from that, we also have freshwater fishes. So it is mainly katla also we call it. Then rohu fish, which is very common in our lakes or maybe tanks and all. And common carp, very common fish, which is there. It is also said to be inland fish. So like this we have these fishes which are being used in this case. And the rearing of fish is called pisciculture. But we have other way out. So we have the form of agriculture in which we rear, apart from these fish or maybe shelled animals and other animals, we can also rear some aquatic plants. And apart from that, we also rear some of the animals for commercial use, like the oysters. Like pearl oysters we are having, and we can have the aquatic plants, and this rearing of different organisms in water is what we call it as aquaculture. And the rearing of fish, and now there is some extension also, including prawn, lobsters, or maybe shelled animals like maybe the freshwater mussels is said to be pisciculture. So the basic difference between pisciculture and also aquaculture, if you see, aquaculture is the process by which we are going to have different flora and fauna, both are included, and from which we can get different things here. So they can be reared in both freshwater as well as in marine water. And in pisciculture, we are culturing fish to obtain the products, that is the meat. And what are the products we get from aquaculture and also pisciculture? We get many products because variety of organisms are being used. Both plants and also animals are being used here. That's why we get variety of aquaculture. That's why pisciculture is inclusive or it is included under aquaculture. So aquaculture is a wide branch, whereas pisciculture comes under this aquaculture. So in this pisciculture, we get the products of fish and also fish related food products. So we have so many organisms in the aquaculture. Fish is there, crustaceans like lobsters I told you, or it can be the prawns, crabs, they all come under, and then molluscans are there, many shelled animals, what we call them, and aquatic plants are also included in aquaculture. In pisciculture, so we have many fishes, and now as I told you, some extension is also there. Some of the crustaceans are also included under pisciculture. And we use them for various purposes. So the different products are obtained from aquaculture, I told you. So already we get oysters and also maybe the food source, like that for many purposes we get products from aquaculture. Wherein in the pisciculture it is mainly the food and also to get the oil, which is the very rich source of proteins, which we call it as cod liver oils. So like this we have this aquaculture and also pisciculture. So like this we can see this animal husbandry provides us the food which is rich in nutrients, and it is one of the source which is able to fulfill the food needs of the people, and thereby it helps us to prevent starvation to some extent. You know that in the world almost 30 to 35% of the people go foodless in the sense not even single meal per day. You just imagine the number. So it is around 35% in the sense it may be around 40 to 45 crore people are going foodless at least for a single time. So that's why it is very important to see that we need to improve our productivity. And secondly, the distribution is another major issue. So let us see in the next class, we will see how best we can improve the breed. So has to get best yield so that best products we are going to have by minimum investment.